On this edition of Broncos Legends, we're catching up with former defensive lineman Rich Tombstone Jackson. Rich, thank you so much for taking some time to chat here today. We like to start all these off by simply asking, what have you been up to lately?
I'm retired from everything, football. I worked in the school system for about 30-something years. I did some work with the recreation department. In 2005 was the last time I worked with the school system, New Orleans Public Schools, and with the New Orleans Recreation Department was 2010. So since that time, I've just been traveling, trying to take care of myself and just living a casual life.
And you moved back home to New Orleans?
I live back in New Orleans, right.
What's it meant to you to be able to go back home and live in the community where you grew up?
Well, I've always been in and out of the community. And most of the time I would stay wherever I was playing. I would spend my time there. My 9 years of playing professional ball, I don't think I lived officially in New Orleans other than traveling back and forth.
When you look back at your playing career, how would you describe the type of player you were?
I really don't know.
Well, my style of play is more or less the style of my arm, and it's more or less an aggressive style. And I just like to hit people, and I like to go hard, and I try to keep myself in superb condition in that it would allow me to go hard on every play.
How do you think you would have fit in today's game with so many different rules and all of that?
I probably wouldn't have survived because I was so physical. And when I look at the guys today, they're not as physical as we were. And I think the approaches are altogether different. The defensive linemen are different. And I guess a lot of things that we were able to do, they're unable to do that today.
What made you such a great player? When you retired, you led the franchise in sacks. What made you able to get to the quarterback so well?
I go back to when I was in junior high school. I was pretty good on the defensive line. In high school, I was pretty good. I was in college. So I guess it was a carryover from the things I was coached. I had some coaches who played in college, in my high school, brought back some things. They worked with me, and then I was kind of like, I wanted to learn everything I possibly could. And then I came up with some things myself. And one of the things I came up with was the head slap, because I figured that any movement that you made towards the lineman's head, he would flinch or raise his arm. And that's all I needed was to get by him when he raised up. And I found that was very effective. And I kind of perfected that move. And whenever I wanted to get to the quarterback, I would use that move. And the defense would just put us like about a 41 or a 55. That means that in that particular alignment, I can kind of move out a little bit. So it gave me almost a free run to the quarterback. And I had an enormous amount of speed because when I was in high school, believe it or not, I threw the shot put discus javelin, I anchored the 440 and 80 in the relay, and I ran a 220 in a 100-yard dash. And I was pretty fast. So when I got into the pros, I still had 4.3, 4.45, 4.3 speed, and some of the guys are just running that today. So I had that back then. So I used that to my advantage. And I figured that some of those linemen, they couldn't dance, I would say, because they couldn't keep up with what you was doing. And that was to my advantage, and I used it to perfection.
You also batted down a lot of passes too. That was a big part of your game too, right?
Oh yeah, I was able to get in if I wasn't. I was that close to the quarterback. Now, as far as I know they kind of didn't give me a lot of credit for all of the sacks I had, and I was trying to get in touch with Denver one time to see if somebody can go back and review all of the tapes of all of the sacks I've had.
I think they credited you with 43 career sacks with the Broncos.
I had more than that.
There is Rich Jackson, number 87.
And what about your nickname, Tombstone? Do you remember how you got that nickname?
That tell Peter that's the symbol of death, termination of life, the end of the road.
Who gave that to you?
I picked it up along the way.
Okay. Is there a cooler nickname for a defensive lineman? I think that's got to be at the top, right?
Well, when you're spreading death and destruction, it's appropriate.
What Denver depends on heavily is its defensive line and all-pro end Rich Jackson, number 87. Denver's front four has been together now for 3 years. And as far as Buffalo is concerned, last Sunday afternoon must have seemed like 3 years, as the Broncos held them to less than 150 yards in total offense.
What about your teammates? That defensive line you played on was something else. One of the best, right?
Yes, it was. I had Paul Smith, Dave Costa, Lorenko, and Lau played on there for a while too.
Do you pay attention to the Broncos nowadays? Do you know what a player like Bradley Chubb is like on this Broncos defense?
I watch him a little bit. We have the Saints here, and a lot of time we get the Saints games. And whenever the Broncos play, I try to look at it. But for the most part, I forget when football is on. I think when the Super Bowl, I watch, I guess maybe half of that game. And in other games, I can't tell you how many games or full game I watched this past football season.
That's it. That's good enough. Let's go. Goal line offense. Let's go.
Rich, it was a pleasure getting a chance to catch up with you, and really appreciate your time. I'm glad you're doing so well down there in New Orleans.
Well, I can't complain. Other than it's cold out here. It was about 10 degrees last night. And of course, I know it's much colder there in Denver. And I don't miss the weather out there.